And we are recording. Excellent. So welcome to today's webinar on gamifying your Avenue course. I intend for it to be fun. I intend for you to understand and appreciate what it's like to be a student in a course that has some gaming or gamification elements, a little bit of something. So as I say, welcome and thank you to Paul, who will be my assistant here today. Let us begin. Gamifying the webinar course. I'm Nancy Van Dorp. I work with the Learn IT to Teach team, which brings you Avenue. I hope you're all enjoying it. Today, we're going to be looking at gamification. As many of you know, it's really emerged as a way to increase learner engagement and motivation to learn. As we talked about in the preamble to the webinar, it's sort of, your courses are running along, but maybe they come a bit stale or boring, and you want to add a bit of interaction, give it a bit of life. So this webinar is going to talk about what gamification is. And we're also going to go through a hands-on participation part to show you the options available to you to gamify. We're also going to be looking briefly at badges. And I know there was a question about badges. We're not going to go deep into badges, but you will be able to see them in action in this webinar. So go through in this next hour, gamification versus game-based learning, what the differences are. What are common features of games? How would we describe that? Then we're going right into the Moodle tools that enable gamification. And these involve all of the items listed here, from badges to certain activities, games you can do, H5p, real-time quizzes. You actually have some blocks that you can incorporate into games. Revealing hidden content so that you have an element of surprise. And of course, social interaction, which we all know and like about. So when it comes to gamification, this is when we are using game-like elements to present the content to engage learners some more. So that is when we sort of gamify the content. Contrast that to game-based learning, where the game is part of the instruction. All right, so what we're looking at here today is more the gamification of things. And you'll be happy to know that our course here today, the theme is games. So like I said, it should be all systems go for us. Want to talk about these features of games for two reasons. One, you want to find out what constitutes a game, or what can you do to make something more game-like. And these are the common features that games have. They don't have to have everything, but if they have even one of these features, it can classify as a gamification of a learning content. So interactivity, you're getting your students to do something that can be under the umbrella of a feature of a game. Giving instant feedback. We're going to see that when you do H5p or SCORM activities. That is actually giving instant feedback on how you are doing. Having a progress indicator. So like, if you do any checklists or you're following along in any blocks, you can see where you are and where you're getting to. That's a gamification element. Anything with a scoreboard. Either has a leaderboard that can help with competition, even whether you say students' names or don't say students' names. Anything with a time limit. Again, it's the competition and it's the mastery, really, of being able to do something in an efficient and a quick manner, as opposed to just in the regular course of things. Yes, I can write a sentence if you give me half an hour, but can I write it in 15 minutes? That sort of thing. Unveiling of a level. So this is where you are at a certain situation and you're going up to the next situation and you don't know what is going to happen next. It will be a surprise for you. Earning badges or awards for doing something. And also social interaction. Now, those of you who have synchronous courses, you may say, oh, we've got enough social interaction, but do you, or could you have more? You know, there's the official learning channel and there is the unofficial learning channel. So I want you to remember, or try to remember, these as we go out through the webinar today, because actually there will be some questions for you to answer with this information. So what we are going to do now is hop on to Avenue. And the very first thing that I am going to do is unhide a course for you that you have been enrolled in as a student. And so I am going to share my screen as a student as well. And you can go to Avenue, refresh your screen, and you will see in the course overview area of your dashboard that there is a course there now, and it's called Gamify Your Avenue course. So let's take a moment to go over to that screen and open your Avenue so that you can see the course. And I am going to do the same on my screen. So let me come back in one moment with that. Everybody finding that all right?
What's the name of the course?
So refresh your screen. And you'll be able to find it easily, I think, because it is not the regular icon that you would see at the top of the course.
Where do we go to the dashboard?
You can go to your dashboard. And then in the dashboard, it won't be at your recently accessed courses. It will be down with course overview.
Oh, Gamify Avenue?
Gamify Avenue, that's the one. Okay, everyone here, I'm going to share my screen again because this is what you should be seeing.
Yeah.
Yes, are we good? Everyone can see your Avenue course. With Gamify Your Avenue course, there's a word cloud at the top.
I can't click on the Gamify Your Avenue course, Nancy. Sorry, Vitalia.
Go to the rocket thing.
So you want to go to your dashboard.
Yes.
And then you want to scroll down in your dashboard to the area called Course Overview.
Yes.
And there you will see all the courses you have access to.
Yes.
And you should see a course.
Other training, Gamify Your Avenue course.
That's the one.
Yeah, but I can't click on it.
No, go on the rocket. Yeah.
Go on the image and click on it. Okay, so we're on this course and I want to keep this webinar moving. So if you need some help, perhaps Paul can help you in the chat. So this course, as I said, is all about games. And even looking at this course, you'll look at it and go, oh my, this, you know, has a bit different layout, a bit different setup. And I'm in as a student, as are we all. You'll see over on the right, there is an HTML block with the common features of games that I just went through in the PowerPoint. You'll also see that there is a block called Latest Badges. That's going to be interesting to explore. There is this place here called Gamify Moodle Level Up, and it's a scoreboard. And we're going to see how that works. And there's also the comments block. In the main area of the course, we have our first section or topic here called badges. And you'll see these cute little badges that you can make or reuse if we've made them. And it allows you to earn badges for completing work in the course. And that works in conjunction with completion tracking. So once you complete something, you could earn a badge. And when you earn that badge, you will see over in the latest badges block that it will have the badge that you've earned there. And you can set these up. We have help files for all of this. So we're going to start with our first section. So Paul, are you able to open for me that first section? And every time that Paul opens the section, he's going to say the word refresh. And
refresh.
We can all come back and refresh our screens. I need to do this as well.
Please do refresh. Yeah.
It's refreshing time. Okay, so you'll see that Paul is acting as the teacher in this course. We are the students. And we've just opened up this new section called Game Module. And I know there was a question before this webinar regarding whether you could set up games using your own glossary. And this is exactly where you do that. The game module allows for 3-4 different types of games that you can use. And you set up a glossary and then just use that glossary to run the games. So a couple of things we're going to do here is I want to show you and then have you do at the same time so you can understand what it's like. So I'm going to pretend to be the teacher and show you our first one, which is called Gamify Snowman. And if you've never heard of the game, Gamify Snowman, then don't be too shocked because the snowman was invented this week. And as a student, when we click on the snowman game, which is great for our Canadian content, you'll see as a student, you go in and you attempt this game now. So what might look familiar to some people is that this is what we used to call hangman.
Mm-hmm.
And we have actually changed the name of this game and how it works and the pictorials to make it friendly for our clientele. So for our Canadian clientele, no less. So we have Mr. Snowman here, and it works similar to other games that you have played. So you program Snowman. In this case, I've programmed Snowman to have the first and the last letter already there. The letter board is underneath, and you can read the clue at the top, a textual or graphical user interface that provides users with an estimate of how far they have advanced in a game. Well, if we were listening, we know that the answer is progress indicator. And so we can continue to populate and make this. But what I'd like you to do is make a mistake. Okay,
Oh, I'm good at that.
Let's make some mistakes. And so in this case, I'm just going to hit a Z. Now you see, and your student will see that your snowman just sagged a little bit. And let's click another incorrect letter. And he's sagging some more. And the more you go to click incorrect letters, the more, I'm trying to find another letter that isn't in there. The more he becomes a puddle on the floor of Canada, and the game is over. And you can go and choose your next word. And so I hope that you have at least tried this. And what I'd like you to do now is go back to the Gamify Avenue course by clicking in the breadcrumbs here into Gamify Avenue. Now, what may have happened to you, and if it hasn't, you can see it's happened to me, is that because I have Level Up, a different game going on, I have actually learned experience points for completing something. So it gives me this item saying, woohoo, congratulations, I've made it to level 3. And these levels are things that you can incorporate into your course that will reveal new content in a gamification sort of way. So here I'm going to say, cool, thanks. And it takes me back to the course that we're working with here. Now, one of the things you'll show is that the level up area, if you gained some points, if you're at level 3 now for trying that, has increased, and it's no longer a maple leaf there. It shows you've earned 39 experience points. And you can configure this block to show numbers or numbers with images or any sort of thing. It's based on the gaming principle that achieving higher levels is a good thing. And if you have any students or family members or you yourself are a gamer, you'll understand this concept where it comes from. You'll also see, and I'll talk about this later, that there is this block that now shows the highest grades that were achieved in this item. So you could have the highest grades show students' names or just have anonymous there and a percentage number. So it lets everyone else, all the other students in your course, know what the activity results for that is. So again, that competitive, that gaming is. Next thing I'd like to do is show you the Gamified Crossword. So click into Crossword.
That's good.
And let's click Attempt Game Now.
Welcome.
And if you haven't yet looked at a crossword in Moodle or in EduLink, this is what it looks like. Again, based on that glossary you put together. And as a student, you'll see that there are clues below, across and down. To complete this, you click in a square and you have a place where you can type in the answer. So here I typed in progress indicator. You see the clue is there. You complete the crossword. You don't have to do that right now. I know it's a lot of fun, but you can come back. But anytime you click in a new place, it tells you how many letters down, how many letters across starts with. And when you're finished, you of course check your crossword. And I did not do so well, so I have a grade of 33%. All right, so again, using this for vocabulary, for definitions. Let's come back to the Gamify Avenue link again. Oh, look at this. I'm now at level 5. Yeah, I set these up to happen frequently during this webinar so that we could really see progress. And what has happened now is that in your blocks on the right-hand side, you'll see that there is a latest badge. And for all of you who just opened that crossword game, you'll see that you have earned a badge called Crossword Crew. That is set up with activity completion. And that means that as soon as you complete or open and view that activity, you will earn a badge. So pretty cool. Let's go on to the last one in this game module. And we are going to click on Gamify Cryptex
I just want to,
and click on Attempt Game Now. And you'll see this is similar in format to the crossword game, but this is a cryptex or a word search. And you see the clues are underneath. And you read the clue, you click on the clue to answer, you type in the answer. Let's see if I can even get this right. Using game-like elements to present course material is gamification. Yours may be different. And it shows it in a sort of a word search sort of way within the cryptex. Again, when you have finished or you want to end the game, you can complete it. And using the breadcrumbs, come back out to Gamify Avenue and look at us moving along. We've reached level 6. Now, a couple of things have happened here, and this is the way I have it set up and how it's programmed. So when you completed the cryptex, you'll see you have in your activity completion all 3 check marks. There was another badge you earned, and you can see that over in your latest badge place, called Word Games Award. And this is because you have played word games. All 3 of them you have accessed with those check marks, and so you have another badge. So when it comes to common features of games, this falls into unleveling levels as we go, showing our progress, where we are. You see in our level up, we're now on level 6, and there's an indicator here about where we are going along. For sure, it's allowing us interactivity. We're getting feedback with scores, we're getting badges. I mean, this is now a very interactive course. One thing else I'd like you to know is that when we came back into this cryptex, we were able to see something else happen here. And that is, we revealed this hidden content. So when you completed the cryptex and got the check mark, this label appeared. So, and I've typed the parameters here. This label appears after completing or viewing these 3 games. You see that you've earned your Word Games badge. And then we've also revealed a picture. And this picture is just another idea to help gamify your course, that you put a clue in the picture to access something else in the course. So in this case, this picture that is revealed is going to be a clue for our next activity, which will be a Moodle quiz. So remember this picture. You know this game. I'll say it out loud. It's Scrabble, right? You all see it. Okay. And then I'm going to ask Paul to open up the next section and let us know when we can refresh.
Thank you very much, Nancy. This is fantastic. I'd just like to take a moment to ask if everyone could please mute their microphones unless you need to speak. There's a lot of background noise. Thank you very much. So I'll just go and I will show topic, and you can refresh, everyone.
Okay, so I'm refreshing my screen. I hope you're doing the same. And now you'll see that there is a new section open to us. This is where we'll talk about revealing that hidden content that we had from the previous. This now opens, and for those of you who are familiar with
a bunch of fucking
quiz,
putanas.
you can have it worked into activity completion to reveal hidden content, so that this opens when the when you get to this part, when you have completed what you need to complete. So let's have a look at this Moodle sample quiz. Those of you familiar with quizzes, this will seem normal. In this particular one, in the interest of time in this webinar, it has a 3-minute time limit. And again, please don't worry about grades, but please attempt the quiz now. And one of the things you'll see come up is that access is restricted to those things that are completed. So we said you had to complete the games. Now we're coming in and saying you also have to have a password. And the password is the name. Let me just go in here. Is the name Scrabble. Remember, that was the picture that was hidden. There's a capital S on Scrabble. And then you are able to attempt the quiz. Okay, so I suggest you choose, you could read some of these, you can try to get the answers right. I don't want to spend too much time here. So click on the type of game that would be least suitable for reviewing vocabulary. And that might be image sequencing, because we think crossword and hangman, which now say snowman, is going to be the correct answer. We can check answers as we go, follow along in the quiz module. Because it's timed, a quiz actually meets one of the elements of gamifying your course. You can have different types of questions in the quiz using Game Like Elephants as gamification. As part of instruction is game-based. And finally, select the 2 items that are not a common feature of a game. So refer back to what we were looking at earlier, what makes something a game. It was unveiling of new levels. It was repetition. It was badges and awards. It was instant feedback. It was time limits. It was not too much competition. It was interactivity. It was not complicated changing rules. You have to keep everything simple when it comes to games. And of course, social interaction and progress indicator were correct. So I can check items and I can finish attempt, and wherever you are, if you could do the same, please. And we'll use the breadcrumbs to go back to our course. And look, we're learning, earning some more level up points as we progress through this course. And let's see what's new in our course now. We have completed the Reveal Content course. No badges were attached to it. We did receive some level up experience points. So we're ready to move on to the next module. So Paul, if you can open up the next module and let us know when to refresh.
Everyone can refresh. And Nancy, would you mind just clicking on the microphone icon beside that one participant who hasn't noticed yet?
I know. I'm trying to check mine.
All right, good to go. Okay, so now back here in the course, we're past the reveal hidden content, and I want to show you this game, which is called Millionaire. And Millionaire also uses the glossary that you put together for games, and it works a bit different. I don't know if you're familiar with the game Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But yes, you can play that in an online course. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, a few things to note here before you go crazy to answer all the gaming questions here. You get a board similar to the game Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So you earn points for answering correct answers, and you move up the leaderboard to higher point questions. However, if you're not confident in your response to this answer. If you guess wrong, game is over. But you have what they call some help. And the help, those of you who are familiar with the game, see that there is a 50-50 option, which if there are 4 options in the question, you can collect 50-50 and it will narrow it down to 2 for you. You can also, in the real life TV game, you can telephone a friend. Here you telephone the computer and they will give you an answer. And like a friend, it may or may not be correct. Or you can get the help of people, ask the audience. And again, they will let you know what they think. They may or may not be right. So in any game, you are allowed to have 3 strikes before the game is over. But if you make 1 incorrect answer down here, then the game will be over for you. So if we look at the first question I have is, what game is best played by an individual, not a team? If I'm not sure, I'm going to go 50-50. And so I know it's either scavenger hunt or snakes and ladders. And I'm thinking that snakes and ladders would work better than a scavenger hunt. You'll see it was the correct answer. I've moved up the leaderboard. I cannot use 50-50 again, and I can continue asking questions. What game in this one do ESL students love the best? I know it's bingo. I'm moving up. You can add images in here. If I don't know this, let me telephone a friend. And over in the corner, it says, I think the correct answer is charades. I go, oh, you know what? You're right. So I can click charades. And the idea is to go up through this to get to the $150,000 question. All right. You can repeat questions in here. You can, and right now I'm going to do this because there are other things I want to show you. I am just going to have a wrong question. And so that's it. I can't get any new questions. It's over. And so I'm going to go back to the Gamify Your Avenue course. So that was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Looks like I'm at a level 8 now. I don't know where you are. And this will lead us into our next item. Paul, if you can open.
And everyone can refresh.
And when we refresh, you'll see now that there are H5p activities that you can gamify. And I know there was a question about H5Ps and whether you can gamify them. Now, the ones that are shown here are more than just your basic skill for setting up. But if you want to know how to work these specific ones, by all means, ask your mentor. They will give you help sheets. There are a couple ones I want to showcase, and you can see for yourself. If you go into image hotspots, in this case, there is an image in the background. And to me, it's just a screenshot I took off the web. And what I have done is laid over top of it these green plus signs. These are called hotspots. And if I wanted to show or teach what was on this image, I could set this up and either synchronously go with students and click on the hotspots and point out what I want them to know. The blue team has 800 points and is winning. The red team has 700 points and is currently behind first place by 100 points. So whatever it is you want to teach on this image, you can add hotspots where students have to click to get the information. It's not just a great big blob of text in front of them for reading.
Nancy, if I could interrupt, there's
Yes.
some questions that maybe you could answer just quickly in the moment. How long
Okay.
did it take you to create this particular game that we're looking at now?
This one? Oh, less than half an hour. It doesn't
Excellent.
take long. If you have an image of what you want, and if you know H5p, it's quite intuitive, and you can go in and just put the hotspots where you like them, test it, and then you're ready to go. It's just one image on the background of this. So to me, I didn't, yeah, I would probably say a half hour for a first time. Is there another question, Paul?
Just asking what you actually do. This is the one that's like Jeopardy, right?
No, this is just the one to discover the background. This is like if I were to talk about how Jeopardy works to my students, I could take an image of this Jeopardy page screen and say, this is how Jeopardy works. You have categories at the top. Up here is where you would go and listen to the audio of it. So I could do this if I wanted to do something fun instead of a regular movie to show how to use a screen. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And we can go back to our game. And we're going to look at the next one, which is an interactive video, which is an absolute fabulous way to embed questions into a video. And you can do that in Avenue. Takes a little practice. And I'm going to open it and show you what that looks like. There it comes. And I have it set to start playing once it's open. So the video will start, and you'll see along the bottom, I'm just going to close that so it's not in the way. Along the bottom, you'll see that there are some dots and there are some hollow dots. And at each of these times, as a teacher, you set this up so that the video can pause and you can make an observation or ask a question. So we'll go to the first one here. This gentleman is going into the elevator, turning around. He's clicking the floor. And now the video will pause. And I would like the student to know that the man turns around, faces the door as he goes into the elevator. It's like, okay, because so you can prompt or prime your students on what they need to pay attention to. Because I wanted to show a variety of techniques, I asked a variety of questions. So when we get to the next question, and don't worry, I won't play the whole thing, although it is great fun. You might enjoy watching the whole thing on your own after the webinar. But you get to another junction, and here the student would have to click on the area and see that they're asked a question. How many people are in the elevator now? So if they weren't watching too closely or just sort of widely watching, they may not know that there are 4 people in the elevator now. You embed a question right into the video. This isn't my video, by the way. This is off of YouTube. So it can be used in this context. And then when I'm ready, I can go again. And you can watch the video. And right now I'm just going to scrub to the points where there's another question. And I have a true false question. 3 people are in the elevator. In the elevator are wearing baseball caps, true or false? I'm going to say true, but I am wrong. So I have the opportunity to redo this question and continue on. And the video will keep playing. And you can ask other questions. You can ask For example, this question, you can have like a multiple choice question there to check. You can have a fill in the blank here with 2 options that would go in. And of course, we have your trying to read the emotions that's coming on or whatever is happening in your video. You can ask any question is the point. And at the very end, I like to do this. I put in a summary at the end, and the summary is sort of asking the student to choose a statement based on what they saw. So the man was very happy that he switched elevators, or the man was not entirely happy that he switched elevators. So a great learning technique and gamification way to use this. So I'm going to go back out to our Gamify course, earning some more level up points. I want to show some more things. A memory game. This is a very, can be a very quick game for students to do. Once you have this set up, it's easy for students to run. They click and try to find the match behind. So in this particular minimal pair games have met, the match is made, and students will go through trying to match word order game, and board games is not the same. So you may try something else. Here's a word order game and a game. Oops, I've messed up. What I want is the word order game and the word order game. There you go. So it's a traditional game, but can be done to help gamify concepts, images, words, etc. Going back to our Gamify Avenue course, going to look at the last one, which is a sample image sequencing. And this is the one where you would load a series of pictures, maybe steps in order or what have you, and ask your students to drag and drop the images into order. So in this case, I am looking, and probably the last one should be the leaves falling. No, that's what happens. Oh, right. So let's start. Let's read the instructions. Changing from summer to winter. There we go. So in summer, we will be green. In winter, our leaves will fall down. Green will go to yellow first. So you have them in sequence and you press check. It lets you know how you've done. So it has that immediate response back. And we'll be able to use Gamify Avenue to come back. Again, the purpose of this webinar is just to show you the possibilities. You certainly don't have to put all of this into one course, all right? So please don't be overwhelmed at this point. When we come back to our course, you'll see something else has changed. In addition, we have another block here called Activity Results set up for this game, which was sample image sequencing. So it will note the names, or if not the names, then it will say anonymous and the scores, the activity, and you can indicate how many people you want to participate in that scoreboard there. Okay, so that does for our H5p games. And Paul, I'll ask you to open our next section, please. And let us know when we can refresh.
You can refresh now.
Okay, so with our refresh, we now have an area open here about blocks. Now, I've been commenting on them throughout the presentation, And let me just add a few more items. So this was just a regular HTML block to remind us what all the answers are and what we're looking for that makes these items gamification ready. We've just looked at different activity results that you can configure. And that is as simple as adding an activity, adding a block for activity results, and then configuring it for the results of a specific item. Latest badges. Oh dear, I forgot to look at this one. Just right now when we're finished H5p, we have another badge because we finished all of the items in H5p Wizard. Now, as to badges, when you set them up, we recommend putting a time limit on them. So the badges that you received today will be available for 7 days and then they're going to expire. So you'll be able to see them for a little bit, but they're not going to be with you forever. So they're on there. The level up is actually, I think, a fairly complex item to put together, but once it's done, it is fabulous. You can choose how many experience points you want to give students for each thing they do. I mentioned earlier that you can use any images or just plain numbers. You've got the progress indicator. So if you did this for all the items in a section, students could see where they are within the section, how they're progressing. Are they almost done? Are they halfway, etc. And as I said, we have help files for all of these items. The last one that I haven't talked about much is this comments. And you may already have that in your Avenue course, but what comments does is allow a live chat within the course that you're in. So I am Lee Chan, and I just typed this message in here today saying, hello, everyone. And anyone and everyone in our course right now, you can type a comment in there. You can just say hi to me back. Well, if you have this open in another tab and are at this spot, and click Save Comment, and it will be added into this comment block. So that talks about our blocks and ones that you can use to encourage social interaction, any number of gamification elements. Now, the last thing I want to do is show you something, and I want to explain it just before we open it. It's called a real-time quiz. And a real-time quiz is sort of like Kahoot. So if you're familiar with Kahoot, if you've run a Kahoot, or if you at least know the concepts of it, you'll know that this is Moodle's way to help you run a real-time quiz. And it's called real-time quiz, and it is a great addition to a synchronous class. Okay, so or a blended classroom if we ever get back to that blended environment. So Paul, can you open the last section here and let us know when to refresh?
You can refresh now.
Thanks.
I should do that old ding, ding, ding.
I know. I was going to say you sound like a subway door opener. We are now at the real-time quiz section. Okay, so, and look at all the comments in our chat. Woo, woo, woo. I'm going to read those all, but not right yet. We're going to do this real-time quiz. And for the real-time quiz to work as a student, you click on the quiz and you'll see the screen comes up that lets you join the quiz, but you have to wait until the teacher says you can click on this. Okay, this is when I am going to go a bit schizophrenic on you and turn myself into a teacher. And I am now teacher Beverly Davis in this course. And I am going to, oh, I better refresh things here. And I am going to go down. And so you can see from a teacher view, as well as the student view, what this looks like. So when I click on this as the teacher, I have the ability to start this quiz. So I've prepped my students, all of you out there, you've clicked on the link. When I start it, you will be able to join. So I've clicked to start. You as students come in here, join, and I can see on my screen the number of students that I have joining. So I can actually keep track of whether all my people are in. The first question comes up. It starts, I have timed these questions. Don't worry about if you get it wrong. And you will have an opportunity to answer that question. And when I, as the teacher, click next, this question disappears. New question comes. I set up to be 5 seconds to answer this. It gives the statistics in the class of what the breakdown is, who answered true, who answered false. And overall, 82% in the real-time quiz got correct. On this question, 64% did. Awesome. We ready for the last question? Here I come. Oh, did I click through it too quickly? Sorry. So it comes up in the end that my class results, 81% had this quiz correct. So well done, class. And I am going to now leave that persona. There are no more questions for me as a student because the teacher has now closed that. I can return to my Gamify Moodle course, and I can see all of the wonderful color, images, features that can be used to bring gamification elements to your Moodle course, to your Avenue course, how you can gamify this. So I am extremely happy that I made it within the timeline for this webinar. It was touch and go, but one last thing I want to show you, and I will ask Paul if he can reveal that to you. Paul, in topic 0, can you open the help file?
You can refresh. Ding, ding, ding.
And here I've put in a link. Now, to be clear, the stage 3 is where these sort of activities are largely taught. H5p activities are largely learned in basic ones in stage 3 and sometimes in stage 4 for more of the difficult ones. But please ask your mentor if you need instructions, if you're not in that stage yet and you want to incorporate something. However, some of you may or may not know, when you click on this link, this brings you to our portal. This is our organization's website. So it's not where you usually go to, it's where you go for live help. I'm just trying to grab an end to enlarge this a bit. It's where you go for live help, for sure. So on learnit2teach.ca. But I'm going to show you, if you go into the support tab on learnit2teach.ca, and go to the bottom where it says Avenue Support, and then go into stage 3 support, you will find help files for the gamification items. So doing a quick scroll, I'm able to see that badges and completion tracking is up here. how to award badges manually. That's right. You can wait until the end and award a badge to someone who has completed something. You could, get badges together for each of the different 4 skills, etc. That helps with badging. As you scroll down, you will see in Activity Guide 2, under Adding a Game, you will see how to add the types of games that we've seen here in this gamification course. Now it does say hangman. We are changing that. Hopefully that will be done today. Snowman was just born this past week. So how to do basic H5p activities are included here. The real-time quiz that we did is here. And the level up block instructions are here. So the only things that I showed that are not here are the more advanced H5p activities and some of the more basic blocks you may have been introduced to before, like the HTML block and the comments block, for example, this being the HTML block and that being the comments. Okay, 1 o'clock on the nose. Oh my, I'd love to answer questions. I'm prepared to stay around and answer questions if you have them. I understand if you have to go. Paul, is there anything pressing?
There was one sort of left over from the chat. Curious about the memory game. Can the size of the cards be changed?
That's a great question, and I wish it could. This is something that sort of has to take place deeper in the code, and that H5p may very well need to be involved with. So at the present, that is what we have with the scrolling up and down.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And I did say in the chat that it would be covered in the help doc, and I believe it is. But if you could just answer for us, the images for the level up, the Mountie and the beautiful landscapes, did
Yeah.
you add those, or are they available somewhere?
They are available. So I'm going back to be a teacher so that I have a few more privileges here. They're they were in the level up block, right? Or the badges block.
That was the level up block. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking of badges. Let me go back. In the level up block, when I go to configure this Gamify Moodle, you will, let me see again, where, oh, that's just where the block appears. Yeah, so let me just forget about coming around to these various areas and say that we created these images, these Canadian images, and I'm hoping that they reside in the repository of badges, and I wonder if those images, whether they respond in the repository. Sorry, images. I'll have to check it out and get back. We're willing to share, obviously, so we'll just know where that is.
Thanks very much, Nancy. I believe that's all the questions. There was one about, are any of these going to be sort of ready-made for teachers? I believe the new modules that are being developed include some of these things that you're showing us. I'm not sure about ready-made, eh?
Yeah, some can. The thing is, how you would choose to run a game or which activities you want to have completed before something happens could very well be different than what another teacher thinks. So sometimes it's an individualist thing. You may want your students' names to show on the activity results, another teacher may not. So you may not want to add the games, or you may want to add them halfway through your course or what have you. And so instead of going in and, you get your courseware from us and you have to go in and take off everything you don't want, we only provide the things that are immediately useful. and the rest you can add in, and hopefully provides, you know, a good amount of variety to your course.
It's like the icing on the cake.
It's the icing on the cake. So what do we think, everyone? Do we think that this is going to help reinvigorate or provide some more variety into our courses? And I'm happy if we all come back, if we want to turn on our mics or our audios and have a discussion about this. Yes, thank you, Jenny. Thanks for your comment. Yeah, so you can see the possibilities. Like I'd say, having one course, like this Gamify course, like it's just so much at once. Take one thing, apply it. Take another thing, apply it. Do little things at a time. And Brenda, thank you. More variety. Excellent.
I love this. I'm going to try something today.
Which one are you going to try, Michelle?
I'm going to try all. I want to try the snowman and the crossword. I haven't done that. And some of, well, the H5p, I think there's more of a learning curve, but those all look, everything looks fun.
Yeah, and it's easy to add a block. Like
Yeah.
it's 2 steps, right? And once you have that glossary made, you can use it in, you know, for those 4 games. Like you'll notice that the ones that I put together was a small glossary, and I just reused everything in there to show as a sample. But once the one glossary is in, you're good. Excellent. Thanks for the feedback. Cheyenne uses badges. Thanks, Cheyenne. Her students love it. Great motivators. Excellent. Sue, Sepida, thank you, my dear. You know what? When you start doing stuff like this, you're going to go back to your classroom and your students are going to go, who are you? What did you do this weekend? Because all of a sudden, you know, that stasis just sort of takes it up a level. Please, please, please don't try to do everything at one time. But every time you think, oh, I need something, like in the classroom, we would think of a transition item to do, right? And maybe this is something, you know, that we could view of in the same sort of vein as well. Looking through these. Thanks, Paul, and thank you. And you know what? I really have to thank the entire team for pulling this off. Particularly, we have 2 different sets of images for snowmen, for our new snowman game. And the instructions for using snowman are updated in your stage 3 course. And the online instructions will be updated shortly. We are still in the process of doing that. And generally, I hope everyone just is able to see some possibility and perhaps try one little thing or more, and have some fun with your students, just like we've had fun here today. Thank you so much. Any questions from anyone else? I'm just going through. Thanks, Helen, Brenda. Allison, you can use it. Happy to hear. Carolina, happy to hear. Liven up your classrooms, Nazanin, that's right. Definitely, Ryan. Great. Excellent, everyone. I'm going to send you off then and wish you all a happy Friday. And if you want to write about what happened when you started using gamification elements in your course in the teachers only forum, I would love to hear about them. Okay, really would. Okay, take care, everyone. I will end it now. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, Nancy. Thank you so much. It was very interesting.
Oh, you're most welcome, Sepida. I hope you were able to see the possibilities for teachers and students.
Yeah, for sure.
The
best part was the snowman. I love the idea.
Well, you should check out the other images of the snowman, because there's a black and white image as well. You can choose whether you want the colorful snowman. Bye, Helen.
Bye.
Whether you want the colorful snowman or a black and white snowman. So There's some good options going down from our creative folks this week.
Great, I'll try them out.
Bye, Samuel. Thanks for coming.
Nancy, can I ask a question? How long will this module be available for us?
I don't have plans to close it right now.
Okay, thank you very much. So there is no limit for now.
Right now, there is no limit. You're enrolled as a student, so for the things you have to rely on a teacher to do, you won't be able to work in this Gamify course. But as a student, to go in and see and redo and all that, yeah, I don't have plans to take it down right now.
Okay, thank you.
No worries, no worries.
Thanks a lot, Nancy. It was fabulous. Really.
Oh, I hope you found something you can use there, Brenda.
Oh, I just find it's just invigorating. It's it gets my sort of creative imagination going, and I think, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to having fun.
Excellent. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Hi, Nancy. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, Shivana, go ahead.
I was not following along with you because I was teaching at the same time, but I was listening and watching. So will I still be enrolled in there? I will, because I didn't do anything with you. Okay, yeah.
You're absolutely. If you signed up for the registered, I went last night and enrolled everyone into this course.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, because I'm teaching at the same time and I'm listening to you on headphones and watching you on my phone.
You are a multitasker.
Yeah. So just want to make sure that I'm enrolled so I can at least do everything after with the YouTube. I'm going to be watching and doing it myself.
That's right. Great. Thank you.
And I'm excited to use the games. My students will love it.
Yes. Yeah. And why wouldn't they, right?
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. And I'm just getting caught up in the chat.
I have one more question, Nancy. So it's Larissa.
Yep.
You said that we need the vocabulary for the first 4 games that we had, Snowman and the others.
Right.
And I started creating my own units, and there is no glossary in those units. So do I have to create a glossary first and link it somehow to do these games?
Yes. So they are glossary dependent. So when you make that glossary, like if you're building a module now for, let's say it's about ceiling fans, because
yeah, I'm doing shopping right now.
You're doing shopping. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you also create in that unit a glossary for shopping, then when you create the game, you'll be able to say, choose the shopping glossary.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. It's that easy.
Nancy, I have a question. Is
Yes.
there any way to save the activities into the computer and share them with colleagues? And the reason I ask is because so many of us are, we can use the same games. We can use some of this, similar activities, especially when it comes to vocabulary learning. And building the same thing, like even building a glossary, it would be nice to be able to share it with colleagues.
You can share glossaries.
Okay.
But to make the activity, that has to be made up at the course level.
That I was afraid you'd say. So then we all have to do it. How do people share their work into Tutela then?
Could I jump in, Nancy?
Yeah, please, Paul.
This comes up quite often on the live help, and there's a couple of different solutions that providers have opted for. One is to ask your mentor to set up what's called a collaboration course. And a collaboration course is just an empty course with nothing in it. And you can enroll all the teachers at your SPO into that course as teachers. And then when a teacher is enrolled in 2 courses, you have the ability to import activities from one to the other. You can also back up and restore is another way to do that. So If you're confident with the backup restore process, you can back up any activity, share the backup file, and then teachers can restore that into their course. Or you could have a collaboration course, which you can also use with the social forum to talk amongst yourselves and build activities that are specific to your SPO. And then all the teachers that are enrolled can import those into their course.
That's very cool. Thank you, Paul. In the collaboration course, is it possible for more than one instructor to work on an activity as part of developing it, just to share the workload, because it's a lot of work?
Yes, 100%. Everyone can be an editing teacher in a collaboration course, and then you can both import from it and create in it and edit. You have to be careful. Too many cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
But you can't work on it at the same time, Paul.
No,
well, you could, but what would happen is whoever hits save last, their changes would be saved. So you'd want to be cautious about who's working on what. It's quite true.
Yeah, activities where you're building vocabulary, you know, things where you're adding onto it, then we could share the workload.
Yeah.
Be great. And my mentor is here too. Charade is here.
Cheyenne's here and Sadie's here. Woohoo!
Yeah, thank you. It was I loved every minute of it. Actually, that's what I needed. I've been working on, last night I was working on creating a crossword, but I had difficulty with the glossary. So I guess I just have to go back and check the steps. I must have missed something. I did create the glossary for one of the topics, but for some reason, I don't know, it's not working. It was showing an error. But thank you so much for sharing that. Since stage 3, I don't know, it's been a couple of years, so I did not. I actually, every time I needed help, I go to the online help. So thank you. Now I know where to find all the files. Thank you.
Well, and I just like to point it out because we're sending a lot of people, like if you don't have stage 3, or some people are on stage 2, they don't have it yet.
Yeah.
That they can still access that or where they are. Of course, I'm your mentor, Sadia. So, you just ask me. I respond.
Yes, I do. And I'm never hesitant asking you any help. So thank you so much for your support. It's been very
It's great.
informative.
Thanks. Good luck. Let me know how it goes.
I will, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Any other questions?
I just stayed back to say hi, Nancy, and it's good to see you.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Did you learn anything new? Not really.
No, but it's always great to be in your presentations.
Were you surprised by the snowman, though?
Yes.
I knew that.
I love that. I was just about to say the snowman. Yes.
Excellent. Nice to see you, my dear.
Nice to see you too.
And Larissa, I see you have a question that you've asked in here as well.
Yeah.
Can H5p be sent in email? No.
No?
Like it's not an attachment?
Oh, it cannot be an attachment.
No.
Because when I get them from Tutela, I download them into my computer and then upload them into my Avenue. And I was wondering, it cannot be attached, you think?
Paul, what do you think? I don't think so.
I think it would depend on the size. Most H5p are far larger than 25 megabytes, which is usually the limit for email attachments. When you try to send like 8 pictures and it says, no, that's too many. We're going to have to send, so I think the file size might stop.
File size. And also maybe with, what was I going to say? The joy of having the H5p in your course is that you can see how your student did and that they're together in a course.
No, I was making I made an H5p and I want to share it with a friend of mine who gave me a hand with it. So I didn't know how to send it to her because we kind of collaborated.
Right. So then I would suggest that you and your friend enroll in each other's courses, and then she will be able to import it into her course from yours.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You could use Google Drive or something too, where you have a shared repository that you can both access. You could put the file in there and then they could download it from there.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, are we out of questions? I'm only 15 minutes over, 18 minutes over. That's not too bad. Sorry, Jim.
Great questions, though, eh?
Terrific. And all that I'm seeing in here, I haven't been to the first part of the chat, but I'm seeing everyone feeling much more positive and feeling that this was good for this. Okay, so I'm going to end it then, wishing everyone else a great day